Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of the GamePodular Unfocused podcast. I'm your host Scott, and with me is the wonderful Seskra. How are you today, Seskra?
I am absolutely magnificent, and not just because I don't have to play Resident Evil 0 anymore. If you don't get that joke, check out the most recent episode of Unfocused. But today we are unfocused. We are wild and unbridled and uncontained.
So what's new with your neck of the woods? Anything wild exciting, apart from Resident Evil 0?
I mean, I'm still coming off the high of that, but in further good news, we've got a long weekend coming up, a bit of a national holiday and all of that. And yeah, things have just been quite lovely over here, to be honest.
Ah, nice. Nice. So it's always good to have a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
You should have more of them.
Yeah, we need to think of some new ones. Saint...
Yes.
Stevenson. The Feast of Saint Stevenson. There we go.
What's the Simpsons one? Festival of Maximum Occupancy.
Yes.
Well, funny enough, a holiday which our state over here in Australia should probably have. We're not going to have this year.
Boo. Boo, 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 boo.
But know about that. But the week after, I think we get the Monday off. So, all good.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely looking forward to that. Great. All right. I'll remind everyone that we do have a, before we get into it, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/GamePodular. You can spare us a couple of dollar dues if you can, or we always advise you to make sure you take care of yourself. You can also send us dollar dues at kofi.com/GamePodular. We have been doing streaming on the on the twitch.tv/GamePodular. Helka and Seska, but I've been going through the holiday randomizer still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you and Hyuka are going through Iconoclast together, I believe.
Yes, we are. Fun little game.
Mm-hmm.
We've also, and if you're not able to catch up on that, you can rewatch the whole thing at youtube.com/@GamePodular. And if you just want the highlights, you can just go to youtube.com/@GamePodular stream highlights. We've also got a wonderful Discord community. Get on that if you're listening here. All this information you can retrieve from our wonderful website at GamePodular.com. All right, let's get to what we've been playing during this month. I've actually played quite a few games actually this month, more than what I normally do.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah, and I decided, you know what? I'm quite knowledgeable in the original NES days.
Mm-hmm.
Huge Sunsoft fan. Batman, especially Euphoria. An all-time classic over here. But one game that I didn't actually play because I don't think it was actually released in the actual in Australia. Apparently it was only released in Japan and Scandinavia. That is Gimmick! ! So this was released by Sunsoft back in 1992. You play as a small green creature named Yumi Taro, who was mistakenly given as a toy to a young girl. After toys, girls have come to life and whisk her away to another dimension. Yumi Taro gives chase to save her. Now, they actually did do a re-release on this on all current platforms. It was apparently from the same company who did the Euphoria re-release.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. So I had never played this. It's an interesting game. You play as, well, I'm just going to call him Mr. Gimmick because that's what it comes to. They're sort of, it's your standard platformer it's very, very difficult. Like your only means of attack is a star, which you have to hold the B button to sort of conjure up. It takes about a second to conjure up, and then you throw it. And you don't just throw it. You throw it at an angle, and then it bounces around. It is.
I foresee some issues. Yes.
Yeah, it's quite different. It's quite. You have to be in the moment to try and angle your shots right to get at enemies. And also you can use if you're good enough, you can actually use it to ride it. If you're able to jump onto it and ride it to go across certain platforms. It's really weird because this game, I don't know if you've seen it. It relies a lot on slopes, and the thing is, like, there is no run command for this. Like, it's sort of, I get a bit tweaked sometimes because the character looks just like a green Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm always like, with the Kirby games, Kirby doesn't have a specific hold to run, but you sort of double tap to initiate a run.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen here. Instead, you run by getting momentum from the slopes.
Fascinating.
So I do it from slopes. So you're trying to do that, but I gotta say, like, I got to about like the fourth island. I did use the rewind feature. I was gonna determine I'm not gonna really use the rewind feature, but some of these jumps are just tricky. And I got to about like the fourth boss, and it was this one where one of the little characters is just up on top in this glass dome, and they're shooting down lasers at you. And so you have to go on the left hand side. There's a big slope. You have to go there and sort of angle it down to make sure it hits on the slope, and to get at the actual and at the boss, and all the while avoiding their laser attacks. And then towards its final phase, it's just hammering down lasers, like you cannot avoid it. And so you have to get that one hit right. And once I did that, then it gets into another boss straight after. And I'm just like, you know what? I just can't, I'm going to do this at a later time, but it's just, I rage quit. I'm sorry to say.
No shame in that. Like, this is very early in gaming history to be pulling the old, multi-health bar boss fight.
Yeah. Yes. But the second stage boss fight, yeah, it's just... But the thing is, like, because I got this game on special, and I also got its sequel on special, Gimmick! 2. This was actually released, because the original game was released in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
This one was released in 2024.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, this was actually released by this wasn't actually developed by Sunsoft themselves. This was by Nicholas Inenses. I'm mispronouncing it. So sorry. A devoted fan of the original game. They founded the Swedish video game company Bitway Games.
Makes sense that would be Swedish, because like the original was Japan and Scandinavia only. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I thought, you know what? I'm not opposed to difficult games. I think it was quite a bit bull what the original Gimmick did. I'm thinking, you know what? It's probably going to be, hopefully it'll be still difficult, but a lot more manageable. I'm glad to say it is. So it's sort of the same, premise. You actually, you're still basically a toy, for this unnamed character, who's now gives this to their daughter, and then the daughter gets captured, and then you have to go around and play this. It is the visual styles of the game, like, very much increased from the actual original NES. Although the NES one was very impressive for its time. Like, we're talking like something like Kirby's Adventure.
Yeah, which genuinely looks more like a Super Nintendo title than a NES title.
Exactly, and the soundtrack as well from the original, just fantastic. Um, so this one, it looks like a high end Flash game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This one sort of still has the same sort of platforming premise. You sort of still attack enemies with using your star. This one, however, they do leverage a bit where rather than actually you don't have to hold the button to keep holding the star. You just hold the button to conjure up the star, and then you always have it, and then you just press the button again to throw it.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it is more, I would say, more puzzle based. You're sort of trying to work out how you go and get certain platforms. Like there'll be ones where you there's like rainbow platforms, and there's that are full, and then there's ones that are invisible, and then you have to basically shoot your star to like a star hole, and that way then it'll reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you try and conjure up your star again, it gets it out of the hole, and then it goes back to what it originally was. So it's sort of those puzzle elements like that. It is a lot more checkpoints.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, checkpoints. The original game, like you could, you had infinite continues. So that had to go for them. But this new game, you actually have checkpoints within it, and with these, like you got 3 health points. You can't increase your health. Like you can't replace your health during the playthrough, but every checkpoint that you go through, that will actually reset your checkpoints.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah. So it's more puzzle based. You've got this time you actually you can have collectibles. So you've got like stickers. You've got you've got different sort of skins. So you get one like where you wear like like a flower hat. You got one where you got like a mohawk, and then you've got ones which changes the character's color.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest. Once I got the one that was just a pink color, I just thought, hang on, that looks like Kirby. Okay, that's it. I'm not changing it. I am not changing it.
We are Temu Kirby now.
That's it. Yeah. Look, it is a lot more manageable. There are some instances where enemies just come at you, and the enemies jump. And I don't know, I can't prove it, but it feels like they know when I'm going to shoot the actual, where I'm actually going to shoot the actual star at them, and they jump. But they don't do it all the time.
Crafty little buggers.
So that's it. They will ram at you, and there'll be ones where they're invulnerable on the front, so you have to get them from behind, but they're really quick to turn around. But I did actually manage to beat this one. Although, in saying that, I didn't get the true ending. You have to actually go back and actually collect all the stickers. And with these stickers, you have to actually manage to be the ability to be able to shoot the star and then jump on the star to sort of get across platforms. Like that's a requirement. And I just say, you know what? I've beaten the game. I saw the credits. That's how I'm going through. Like I know some games I'll go to 100%, but if it's that difficult, maybe I'll go into it at a later stage because it will be easy just to say, okay, I just try to collect one sticker, go on. It does save your progress like that. So you don't have to go through it again.
And
so
I mean,
it is easy to.
Yeah, if you hit credits, I think that counts as completing it. Like, unless you're playing a Yoko Taro game, I feel like that's a very valid metric to determine whether you beat it or not.
Exactly. But yeah, so yeah, I would recommend Gimmick 2 if you do like your harder style platformers.
Yeah, look forward to the third one in 2054.
Oh goodness, by then. But yeah, I was really disappointed I wasn't able to get into the original, but I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I got into at least a sequel. So yeah, if you see it, give it a go.
Yeah.
All right. So going from a bit of a gimmick to a bit of a demo, you've been playing the Horses of Hoofprint Bay demo. How's that gone for you?
It's gone very well. Minus one little, like, the game ran fine. I just messed up in it. Uh, so I have a dear friend who is, like, card carrying, unwavering, die on this hill, capital H horse girl. And so,
Yep.
she's sort of my hookup whenever I need, the hot horse girl gaming goss, because she does keep on top of that. Not that there's a lot to report, because this is a criminally underserved genre. There's a whole discussion there about, like, the state of the industry and all of that, which, frankly, might be an interesting special episode someday, but that's not what we're doing here right now. What we're doing here right now is she told me, hey, I've been playing this a demo for a new horse game recently, and it's been really impressive, actually. It's really good. It's by horse girls, for horse girls, and I think it's really going to go places. And I was like, can I get a link? I'm just I'm just curious to hear, just to see what this is actually all about. So, yeah, I dipped a toe in, or I guess a hoof in this case. If you're wondering when I say horse game or horse girl game, like, what do I mean by that? I mean mainly just a game centered around the rearing and riding of horses. Like, you get a little farm that you inherit from a conveniently deceased family member, and you convert it into, like, a stable and a range, and you go into horse grooming. You start trying to even, like, breed your own horses to maybe sell. You can train horses. You can train other people how to ride horses by, like, actually correcting them on their posture and such. You can try to compete in races. It's looking like it's going to cover, like, a very wide swath of the, like, horse interaction spectrum. Wow, that sounded better in my head. Um, it's looking really ambitious, and pretty much everything that's there so far actually works rather nicely. I will say right off the bat, the timing on jumping over barricades, if you're doing, like, dressage, can be a little finicky, but there is just an option in the settings for auto jumping, and
Okay.
I like maybe they'll tweak the timing and such in the controls in the future, or maybe I'm just a scrub and not good at horse games, and you'll be fine with it. But just be aware that option is there, and the game does not penalize you for it in any way. Don't be afraid to turn it on if you need to.
Okay.
And, like, it's, it is a cozy management sim on some level, with a lot of other mechanics thrown in as well. So it's not just that, but it is, like, sort of first and foremost meant to be very pleasant. And they're clearly trying to strike a balance where they want you to be able to do a lot of the things that are genuinely involved in rearing a horse without it bogging down into tedium. Like, they wanted to, like, you should do a little bit of everything, but it shouldn't take very long and it shouldn't be very hard. So, are there mechanics for, like, medical attention for your horse in case they get injured during a walk or a competition? Yeah. Is that hard? No. Do you need to, like, constantly stay on top of that? Also, no. It's that's a delicate line to walk, or at least so I hear from, the people with the inside scoop on the horse girl genre.
Mm-hmm.
And I can definitely say that for me it was very frictionless. The thing I alluded to at the start here, my one little oopsie doodle whoopsie. So, one of the things you can do is just essentially be like a shelter or a hotel, a horse hotel, for other people temporarily. Like, somebody completely unrelated to you owns a horse, but say they're going on holiday for 2 weeks. They need somebody to take care of the horse. They bring their horse to you for 2 weeks. They pay you for it. Everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good way to make money if you have the stable room for it. So I have been doing some of that. And I was like, I can let them, roam together. It'll be good for them to socialize. And I can let them sleep outside. It probably means I'll need to clean them a little bit more in the morning. But, it's good that they get fresh air.
Yeah.
And then one morning I wake up and I find that I am not going to be paid for one of those horses I'm taking care of. Because while she slept outside with the other horses I'm taking care of, the stallion got her pregnant.
Okay.
Which was not part of the plan for anyone involved. So that kind of nullified that fee. It didn't bankrupt me or anything, but that was whoopsie. Yeah, just be mindful of that. This is a niche game in a niche little genre. But like I said, it's a very underserved demographic, and I like being able to point people in those underserved demographics to good stuff when I can. Like, I myself have my own, like, passions that I dearly wish there was more of. Like, I'm a Jazz Jackrabbit fan. Do you know how slim the pickings are when you're a Jazz Jackrabbit fan? They don't exactly make a lot of Jazz Jackrabbit likes. So whenever I can throw a bone, or in this case, a bale of hay, I'm happy to help out. So if you like horses, if you like horse games, if you're the kind of person who's like, I want to play a high effort horse game, and I'm sick of people saying just play Red Dead Redemption 2 or Breath of the Wild, maybe give this a go. The demo is currently completely free. It's made with a lot of love and passion and attention to detail. It goes into a lot of important real-life info about horses. Like, all the mechanics in the game are rooted in real, actual, like, things that horse owners have to deal with, which also means there's, like, an extensive section on the genealogy involved with the horse's, like, the color of their coat, and even, like, a breakdown of, like, coefficiency of relation between them to make sure you're not accidentally inbreeding. You mostly don't need to worry about that, but like, it's very educational, if nothing else. And yeah, I spent like 3 or 4 hours with it. I had a genuinely very good time, even though this is normally not my thing at all. And even if you're not particularly into horses, but you do like your cozy management sims, like I said, demo is free. Go check it out.
Nice. Well, going from the big horses to something a bit smaller, I've actually been playing, well, everyone knows it's the Mouse PI for Hire. This has just been recently released. This is made by a Polish company called Fumi Games. The style of this is this is effectively a noir, 1970 noir rubber hose cartoon animation boomer shooter. So that's a bit of a word salad.
Bit of a mouthful, but yeah, like it is. You can't say it's not distinctive. Yeah, I'm looking at like screenshots of it right now, and yeah, like.
Let me just get this out of the way. The art style is great. Like, I am amazed how well this game sort of just gets you into it. From its obviously this black and white aesthetic, to the whole fact that it is effectively a Doom visual style first person shooter, set in a like Mickey Mouse cartoons. Well, sort of like old Fleischer, that one, but just like the whole from the screenshots, I imagine me saying it looked sort of. I had originally imagined it was sort of going to be like sort of like the old Wolfenstein bosses where everything's just going to be front facing towards you. I'll advise now. No, these characters have full rotation.
Absolute mad lads, because I don't think these are 3D models, or if they are, they're hiding it very well.
Well, there are 3D. There are no 3D character models.
Yeah,
You'll still get 3D models for your weapons and so forth. But the actual character models, like this game, it's not like the original, like when they did like Duke Nukem, where it's a weird sort of look up and down. This is full on looking up, looking down in a 3D environment, and these characters do look flat when you look up and down.
Yeah.
But that's just sort of adds to the aesthetic. No, it is visually striking. So, this is you play as Jack Pepper, a grizzly PI, in a mouse city. And the name of the game is that you're going around trying to solve a murder case. But you're also going around and solving. The idea is that you effectively have a hub area, which is like your main, like sort of main city where your apartment is. The idea is that you go and once you go ahead and so go to a level and complete the level, you go back to your hub area and sort of piece together the pieces on a, there's those like blackboards where you pin a photo and then sort of connect it with like what's it called?
String or
string. Yeah, string. Oh, my goodness. So you're doing that. You're also interacting with other characters throughout. There's a sort of mechanist called Tammy, sort of a jokingly hard boiled one. That you look Tammy Tumbler, yeah, mechanic. You look after. There's also a it's sort of like the whole sort of you're initially going after a murder mission, but then you're also friends with a mayoral candidate who you sort of foil you try to help him out in the opera, and you actually end up burning down the opera house, but saving their life, so they're grateful for you. Standard play. I will say, like, with this, it sort of set, like, initially it sort of sounded like, okay, you're going around, it's a boom show, but you sort of go around searching for clues, and then going back and sort of piece together that. It's not really that involved. It's more so you go to the area. It is for like you're just going from A to B to C, like a bit of a go around, because it is sort of like the original Doom, but not like overly complex. You're not going like full on like go around. You're hunting keys, but it's still like you are locked out of certain areas once you complete that area. In regards to like the weapon play, you start off with a mouse pistol and your fist, but then you get stuff like you get a shotgun. I'll say even like the weapon animations, just the rubber hose animation, just it's so funny. Like you're shooting the shotgun, it's just like living effectively, and it's funny. The reload animation, the character Jack just gets a whole bunch of shotgun and just slams it into the actual shotgun. It's great.
I'm looking at it now. Like if you're on the Steam page, like it's not the trailer sort of screenshot, but if you go down to like about this game, they sort of have like the GIFs, as it were, of like some of the stuff in action. And yeah, the weapon animations are delightful because like it's very old school, like bulky rust bucket kind of guns, but historically accurate by the looks of it. But it's animated like rubber hose, so it looks like.
Yes.
If you ever wanted to see like a Lewis gun behave like it's a deflating whoopee cushion, this is the game for you. Like, wow.
Exactly. And it's the gun moves with how you move. So if you're moving back and forward, it's got different animations of how you're moving. So just every little bit about 57,000 cells that they've done for this game.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm reading it now. Yeah, it's all hand drawn. It's all hand drawn.
It's all hand drawn. There is no Adobe like tweening and so forth. It is hand drawn.
Pour one out for this poor artist's wrist.
You got other weapons. You got one. The D Inca, I believe it's called. Which effectively, like, it's just you shoot it and it just melts the enemy. Like there'll be they'll if you shoot at it, they'll still have time to sort of shoot at you, but it's usually just like an instant kill, effectively. Yeah. So the gunplay itself works really well. You do actually you can upgrade your abilities with those guns. Like say like your shotgun, you're sort of able to get the alternate fire and just shoot a really big shot, or like they call it I believe, is it called a Jack gun or James gun? But it's actually a Tommy gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got that. You've also got like dynamite. I did find that some of the shotgun itself isn't really too powerful. I did end up using the Tommy gun more, because once you increase that, it usually only takes like a couple shots to down enemies.
I'm seeing one weapon. I think it's a can of spinach.
Yep. So you do. That's
Is that the sort of like the Berserk pack?
Exactly. That's a Berserk pack. So.
And it's a Popeye reference. I just realized. Oh, there's these people know what they're doing. Yep.
Oh, yep. So that's when you get in Berserker Raid, just punch all your enemies. You also get one where you drink a cup of tea, and your can becomes a gun, and you just shoot out bullets with your hand, like a plaything.
Yeah. All right, I'm wishlisting this. I need to see this at some point.
Yes. So and the actual abilities themselves, like you'll get stuff like a double jump. You'll be able to walk on certain walls. You'll be able to do a tailspin to sort of hover. You're able to get like use your challenge as like a grappling hook. Yeah, it's just, look, it's crazy. Like, okay, there has been this discussions online about the fact that some people don't feel with the whole noir theme setting, it doesn't really gel well with the actual gameplay. And some other people have pointed out, well, it's a boomer shooter. What do you expect? Look, I'm going to be honest. Like, it is a boomer shooter. It's great to play as, and I do understand it's not taking stuff too seriously. But there is sometimes you just get a bit of a disconnect when you're this private eye. You go around trying to serve like one murder case, but you're going into this section and you're going into these rooms filled with enemies, and you're effectively melting them down. Like, this is still cartoon. This is still black and white. But I mean, enemies' heads are being popped off. Enemies' bones are being melted. And it's a funny disconnect, I gotta say. Like,
honestly, I think the rubber hose aesthetic is a very good binding agent between the noir aesthetic and the boomer shooter gameplay. Because it feels compatible with one whilst enabling the other in terms of like the speed and the feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, just there's a visual rawness to it. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying when you get into there'll be because you get effectively locked in a room. Sometimes you have to take down these enemies, and like literally these enemies are just coming out of doors. It's just like a skull out of it. So it's not as simply like, you know how something like Tomb 2016 we just locked into rooms sometimes like a and just have to mow down enemies, then you get to lock, then you get to progress.
Yeah.
That's sort of what it feels like sometimes. And so I think there's more correlations, something like, say, like Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal,
Yeah, it's not like
And so like,
pure old school boomer shoot.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, nothing like the original Doom or Duke Nukem. Like this is like Jack is a lot more mobile. Jack has a lot more to his arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I do have one very important question about this mouse-centric game. At any point, do any of the goons say, "Cheese it, it's the cops"?
oh, that would have been. No, I don't think I've heard anyone say that. I've had
Okay.
plenty of other cheese puns. I mean, this whole setting,
Mhm.
during the prohibition, rather than alcohol, it is cheese. So you
Of
have
course.
like Gouda and like like a bottle of blue cheese
Mm-hmm.
that gets hit that's illegal. Um,
Yeah, so
but
at
yeah,
Fumi Games, I wish to report a gross oversight of your game. Please correct.
if you're gonna go ahead with these cheese puns, please add this in. At least it's like DLC or something.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, the music itself is absolutely fantastic. It's just really good. I played this on Switch too. I imagine to be really really better, like like a spec that PC or like Xbox or PlayStation. Switch 2 does struggle a bit. It's got a performance mode and a quality mode. It's interesting. The quality mode, it does it to 30 frames per second on handheld and 40 frames per second on if it's docked. I did notice when playing like either performance or quality mode, there are frame rate dips. And I sort of feel like with the actual, I ended up playing in the quality mode on docked. So I feel like the 40 frames per second sort of gels more with the actual animation style, while giving somewhat of a more twitchy play rather than
Yeah,
say like 30 frames a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, story wise, it's hard to say. Like you had to go the balance between what is sort of naturally cheesy and goofy and sort of like parody, and how it's trying to take itself seriously. I do feel like it tries to take about itself a little bit too seriously for its taste. Like this whole thing, like you're solving murders. You've got racism. You've got the Nazis in there. Well,
Mm-hmm.
they're called the BMP, the Big Mouse Party, but the way they act, you can make your own guess of who they're representing. And sort of, it does try and play a bit light. It does do a bit lighter sometimes, but just as general themes, sometimes you sort of like, I don't know how lighthearted you can try and get with that. You're going through some pretty dark territory.
That's fair. Yeah, like I can't weigh on that because I haven't played it, but I know it is. I know other games have sort of successfully squared that circle. Like the Max Payne games, the first two, those sort of did it by like Max takes himself very seriously, and he has to. Like he's dead, and he's not dead, but like he's in grave danger, and the people he loves are dead. But the game takes itself less seriously, and that actually kind of worked very nicely, especially in the first game where like every NPC is just voiced by one of the developers, and also their face is one of the developers, leading to the nerdiest goons you've ever seen in your life.
I sort of feel like, I sort of feel like Mass PS sort of the character itself it is as serious, maybe a bit less so. Like they're trying to they're always trying to wisecrack. I would say, like probably like a successful Duke Nukem, if that makes sense.
Or maybe like Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, actually, it's probably like a better thing. Although they a bit more voiceful than Leon Kennedy, I got to say. Although I believe it's Tom Baker who's done the actual voice work. Absolutely great.
Wait, Tom Baker?
Sorry, Troy Baker.
I was going to say,
Troy
like,
Baker.
they got the fourth Doctor to voice this character. What? But no, Troy Baker.
Oh my goodness. Oh, he'd be interesting in that. But Troy Baker, he absolutely kills it. Started cast. Yeah, I would say look, it's got some a little bit of performance issues on Switch 2 and probably Steam Deck as well. If you can get on other platforms, I would say give it a go. It's just been recently released. If you do like silly noir boomer shooter esques, I would say give it a shot. I actually had a blast with this. It's not the most perfect game. Some of the discourse, it's not the absolute greatest. That's what I'm going to say, but it is good. Yeah. All right. So something completely different from Lally Mouse to some Kings. You've been playing some Crusader Kings III.
Yes, I have.
How's that gone for you?
Very, very well, despite the Pope's best efforts. Yeah, I'm not normally like a grand strategy kind of person. Like, I like it in concept. Very often, the gameplay execution of it is sort of what catches me off guard. And I'm going to tell you here right now, Crusader Kings 3, you can get into it. I could get into it. You can too. It is a little bit of you kind of have to have a little bit of faith going into it, pun not intended. Like, you need to accept that you're not going to understand or even notice all of the systems at play right away. And that is honestly okay. You don't need to know or obsess over every little thing right away. And even once you get all the way to the very top, if you kind of neglect something for a while and then it becomes a problem, there's solutions to those problems. Like, the game has got elasticity built into it. So I got into this originally way back in the day because I had seen a couple videos of people playing it and some very silly things that come up in those videos. And I was like, okay, it's a grand strategy game that has a sense of personality and humor, and there's actually sort of like a emergent gameplay aspect of it. I'm curious, let's dig in. And I did. I fell in love with it. I've recently been replaying it in a new playthrough, where I played as Poland. Well, that was sort of like where I started. I didn't start as like the king of Poland. I started as like a lowly count, I think, and worked my way up. By this point, I'm like Empress of Westslavia, and I control probably like a quarter of the world map, but I digress. The big thing that I just want to get across is this is a fantastic game to play with friends, because when you do have little mistakes and when you do have little things you oversee, the quote-unquote problems that emerge, more so than problems, they're just funny. They're just like, oh, I haven't gotten around to marrying off my daughter yet. I'm sure it'll be fine. And then the next time you check in, it's like, I'm sorry, she eloped with an adventurer who then founded a mercenary company, and she is now in Tibet. Huh. That's gonna make sending the Christmas card real awkward. Like, everything is very wonderfully interconnected, and that does mean that, like, and the devs themselves will admit this. This is one of those games where it's like it 96% of the time holds together very well. There's 4% sort of like jank in there, and it's never game-breaking jank or anything, but it's just little things of like, I'm not entirely sure how or why that happened, but I'm gonna roll with it. I am admittedly saying that in the weird position of like sort of halfway through this most recent playthrough of mine, there was a big update because this game is still getting big updates. Like last time I played, Japan wasn't even in the game yet. Now it is. They've added a ton of new stuff. And of course, anytime they introduce a bunch of new stuff, there's gonna be, little cracks here and there from integrating it with the existing stuff. So it'll probably restabilize a little bit as we carry on. But in its current form, in its current like model, I still absolutely adore Crusader Kings 3. It is very chill, very relaxed, because it's real time, but in a way that I find much more manageable, or like it's day by day, and you can pause whenever you want, and the speed at which the days go by, you can set however you feel like. So it's I, instead of thinking of it as a real-time strategy game, think of it as turn-based, but you can set the turns to be very, very quick and automated. It honestly works very nicely. I mentioned the Pope earlier because, as per the name, you might be able to infer there are crusades in the game from a certain point onward, because there is a lot of historical authenticity here. Like, I started my playthrough in like the year 812. The first crusade wasn't until like 1099 or something, so it took a little while to get there. But look, I get that I'm not Catholic. I get that I run probably the world's biggest non-Catholic empire. I feel a little bit called out that literally every crusade in the last 400 years was directed at me personally. I feel a little bit called out there, not gonna lie. So I'm like, whenever I play through this game, I just sort of set like very loose goals for myself to eventually work towards, because like it's mostly about the journey, but knowing a destination when you start sort of helps you guide it. And by now I've done most of the things I want to do in this playthrough, but I think to cap it off, I think the pièce de résistance is probably going to be a little option in my decisions menu, because at any time, like, with the UI, it's mostly the world map, but you can go to like your realm, your subjects, any scheming you've got going on, the people at your court, and decisions, which are like bigger or more immediately relevant decisions. So it could be things like, oh, there's a plague going through town. I'm going to decide to go into isolation to make sure I'm going to quarantine myself. Or it can be, I would like to go, I would like to put out a call for new court physicians because my last one died. One of my decisions that I can't do it right now. I need to do a little bit of setup for it still. But I think it's how I want to end the run, is a little something called Dismantle the Papacy. It's going to be, like 2-3 wars in total, probably. But yeah, I'm sick of it. I want the Holy See, and I want to throw it into the sea. I'm done with this nonsense. Get out of here. And there's genuinely a lot of very fun tension in the early stages when you still are being ruled by other people. Like, by this point, I'm my own empress. Ain't nobody telling me what to do. But when I was a count and a duke and even a king under an emperor, like, that's honestly a lot of fun. There's wiggle room there. You get to, like, compete with other vassals. You get to call on your liege when somebody attacks you and be like, boss, I need help, get over here. And you run into these insane escapades where it's like, oh, the Emperor of France invited me to join him on a hunting party, and he did, and we became, like, I went over, and we became good friends, and isn't that a lovely tale? And then 2 weeks later, he declares war on me. And I'm like, but... Bro, I thought we bonded. We did the whole thing together. Like, that trip took me 6 months because the fastest form of transportation is a dude on a horse. Like, this game is silly. It doesn't look it, but it's very silly. And I genuinely, dearly love that so much. Like, I love that when there's, like, whenever you scheme to murder somebody, if you were hypothetically to scheme to murder somebody, I certainly haven't done that ever.
No.
Like, sometimes it's, just straightforward. You get somebody to stab them, or you sink a ship. But sometimes we get like a little literary with it. We go full cask of Amontillado, and we just get them drunk, and then wall them up in our wine cellar behind a fresh brick wall.
Gotta be creative.
Exactly. You got to be creative. And this game genuinely is creative. There are a lot of events that have a low chance of happening, but they can happen. And because there's loads of them, you will run into like one or two of them as you go. Things like, okay, as you get older, you get, you lose your mental faculties a little bit. Okay, so that just means like some stats get affected, right? Like maybe your learning and stewardship ain't what it used to be. Yes. Yeah. Also, you have an imaginary friend now.
Oh, okay.
Who is listed as being part of your court. But if you try to give them a court position, people are going to look at you very funny. It's... yeah. Like, you can tell that the devs are just... The devs are looking to do two things at once. They want to make a fulfilling, comprehensive, fairly historically accurate big simulation of world politics, and they want the player to have a good time while they're playing, which is why I recommend playing this with other people. It does have multiplayer, which is a lot of fun, but even just like stream this to friends, show this to friends, and you will just find little things that are a lot of fun. This one time I was showing it off and somebody was just like, why is that one lake there pink instead of blue? And it took me a second to even spot what they were talking about on the map. I'm like, oh yeah, pink lake. Let me zoom in. Yeah, that really is pink instead of blue. Is that like a bug? Is that a texturing issue? And then we checked the county. No. That's a special location, which really exists. It's in the Middle East. It is a seasonal lake that fills with like the melting snow from nearby mountains fill it up, and then it slowly evaporates over the summer. And it is pink because of the rock salt that's up in those mountains, which gets colored like pink Himalayan salt. And it's a real, actual place. And if you own it, the odds of poets and artists at your court being inspired go up because they are like so taken aback by the majesty of it. This is one tiny spot. This is one barony in a game that has thousands of them. And I love that not only did they find a real cool thing to put in it, they even found an contextually appropriate mechanical effect for it. The attention to detail is just insane. It's off the charts. I love it so much. Does it come at like the cost of like the aforementioned 4% of like friction and jank? Kind of sometimes a little bit, but like I said, there's elasticity built in, and even failure can be funny. Like, oh no, my like one of my family members has like founded a cadet branch of our house. They're trying to like establish their own authority and break away from my control. What's the motto of their new cadet branch? Remember Simovic. Who's it? Simovic? Hold on, let me check. Oh yeah, okay. That's right. That was my uncle who died falling down the stairs. Are we really remembering him of all people? Like, I love it. This game is so good. It's so fun. It's a fantastic game to just unwind with because, like, despite everything being real time, combat is like you do control your own armies, of course. Well, you can choose to automate that if you want to. You do control your own armies, but once combat begins, you don't really need to worry about that. Like it's combat sort of how like the Total War games would do it. Like you control your troops, you tell them where to go, and then once they are engaging the enemy, it's kind of like out of your hands. You have to let the troops do their thing. It's like, for me, this is, like I said, not a genre I'm normally into, but I love Crusader Kings III. I really do. It's a really good, accessible, rewarding, funny, forgiving version of this formula. And if you're worried about, like, I don't know, this seems like a lot to get into, you know what you could do? You can custom make your own ruler and give them as many beneficial traits as you want. Do you want, like, a mastermind philosopher, legendary blade master, like, legendary poet, who is also a beautiful genius, like, Herculean Amazon? Yes, you could do it. You could absolutely do that, and you can absolutely give yourself all of the help you need to get going and learn how the game works. The only trade-off is if you have one of those, if you make your character too good, it would disable achievements, which I think that's a very understandable little trade-off. And of course, once you know how the game works, you could just play normally and get whatever achievements you like. The achievements, by the way, again, the attention to detail and the effort that went into it, and frankly, the comedy is very good. I very recently got one called The Emperor's New Clothes, because I inherited my empire from my mom. But at the time, I was naked because the court jester had stolen my clothes as a goof. And my mom thought it was so funny, she was like, no, don't give him back the clothes. It'll be funnier that way. And this lasts for 5 years. So I've been running my empire completely naked for the last 3 years now.
Ruling in the buff.
Yep. And there is an achievement for that. Because of course there is. Why wouldn't there be?
Oh.
I haven't actually touched much in the way of the DLC because there is a lot of it, and I'm frankly a little worried that if I like it, I'm going to buy all of it, and I don't know if my wallet can handle that. But even just the base game, everything I've just described is in the base game. So if anything I said sounds good, the base game will do you just fine. It goes on sale pretty regularly. I want to have more experiences like this. I want to have more games from a genre that normally isn't my thing, and I'm able to point at, like, at least one and go, okay, but that one's great. Give me more of that. We need more games like this.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, that's going to do it for this episode of the GamePodular Unfocused podcast. I've been your host, Scott. Thank you, Cesar, for joining me.
Thank you, as always. Pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. And we'll all catch up with you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the GamePodular Unfocused podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps us get noticed. You can also listen and subscribe on other podcast services such as Spotify. Make sure to check our other show, Unfocused. Be sure to join our Discord server to interact with the lively GamePodular community. Follow us on Mastodon, Blue Sky, YouTube, Twitch, and at GamePodular.com for updates, news, and other content. Links are in the show notes. If you would like to support our shows, you can buy us a coffee or become a GamePodular Patreon. The details for both are on our website. This episode was edited by myself, and you can follow me on Blue Sky at ScottyJman. You can follow Seskra at Seskra the Spider at bsky.social, albeit at your own risk. Thanks for listening.